Yo, two people in here. Damn, what was up to? How we doing, guys? I thought I'd stream again, and this time I might actually stream the Hulk versus Godzilla Death Battle cast shit that they released last. I think it was last week, the week before. I'm interested in what they say. I know they used Devil Hulk at one point, but they argued that Devil Hulk would absorb Godzilla's attacks and shit. So which I mean you should be able to do, but oh, you on about the new Death Battle with what's it called? Goku vs Superman 3. I listen for the mainline Superman. I don't know how Goku will. From what I know, I don't know how Goku ever beats him. But they just need to redo Doomsday versus Hulk and have Hulk win. As you rightfully should. Or Hulk versus Broly. Doesn't really bother me. The Hulk versus Broly animation was top tier. It was really good. But the research, especially on Hulk's part, was some ass. And I helped with that. I was asked to help. And they pretty much said I was asked to help by one of the researchers, and then around the time the episode debuted, they were told by the people who made the episode that the episode was made months in advance. And that Hulk's scaling only went up to around when he fought Juggernaut, which would have been Immortal Hulk issue 32, 33. So, and then the whole shit about if you destroy the hypothalamus, you kill him. It's like no, you don't. No. So it's what they tried, and he came back anyway. So it should be like Hulk with a conscious knowledge and ability to use the Green Door versus Broly. So I don't know how Broly kills him, because the Green Door should bring him back from conceptual shit and all that kind of stuff. Plus, what is it now? Yeah, it's some cat, bro. Using some booty butt multipliers as well. wonder if they're gonna do Godzilla versus Hulk as an actual death battle at some point. Because, like, I mean, both aside, I think they'd have Hulk win that. I think. And if they didn't, he'd be like 0-3, so it would be a bad day. Dark day, indeed. Yeah, I saw Goku versus Superman, bro. I thought the animation was good. I liked how they portrayed Goku versus Superman in this, like two heroes fighting to like find out who's stronger between them. That one shot as well, where they're like cracking space time. You can see into like other continuities and shit. They're like based around that fight, and it's like Cass, and he's like reaching for Zeno Goku. That shit is hard as fuck. That is like, that's definitely not how it would go, but it's a dope fucking piece of artwork. And yeah, I don't like, people do forget that Hulk could fly initially. But there's an animation on YouTube that shows Hulk vs Superman. I think it's in like 3 or 4 parts, and Superman like tries to BFR him, and he just like thunderclaps back. Even when he gets like tossed out of the solar system, he just thunderclaps back, and I thought that was like a heat idea. Long distance travel without unable to like run or like touch the ground kind of thing. Thoughts on the Doomsday competition? All front hands. Dope idea. I mean, technically we have like what? I think it's 8 years. If you go by that date given for Secret Crisis, I do think they need to do. I mean, technically there's Fortnite, right? You never see the Marvel and DC properties together in that, like in the actual official crossovers and shit. So seeing another Marvel DC crossover would be cool. And having them all throw hands would be heat. I do think it would I think it would go a bit different. This time I think it would be similar in the Superman kind of aspect, where he beat Hulk and then I think that's the right crossover. It's like he beats Hulk and then he beats Thor as well, and then the Avengers like jump him or some shit. I might be thinking of the other one, but that's how I could see it going. Or the other way around. So he beats Thor and then Hulk, because Thor isn't Marvel's like that guy anymore. It's more consistent ever since like mainly like I'd say end of Onslaught Saga onwards, it's been Hulk. Sadly, it's not that way in the MCU. It's it should see for Hulk in that, but I mean there are some statements that like that make him out that he would be a vibranium buster and shit, like some scaling. Like statement of there's a statement that Wanda, when she starts to rate, because her powers are also regulated by her emotions, and when talking about her capabilities, when she like kind of gets upset and starts spurging, they compare her to the Hulk. And she should be a vibranium buster, which is that level. Because obviously she breaks Thanos' sword in Endgame, and that while he's like using it, and that obviously breaks Captain America's shield. But in Age of Ultron, on the director's commentary, Joss Whedon's like, yeah, the vision that Tony sees where all the Avengers are dead, and you see like Cap's shield is cracked. That specific, the way that the shield is cracked, is mimicked later on when Wanda is like standing over Ultron, before she pulls out his heart, and that is meant to represent that Wanda has the capabilities at that point because she's so like emotional and mad to break vibranium. And obviously after that she calms down. So she should be as strong as Hulk there. Hulk. I don't think they'll ever have Hulk beat Superman, or Thor beat Superman, or Captain Marvel beat Superman in a crossover like that. I think they hold Superman as the number one hero, not just in terms of like strength and shit as well, but just like image and whatnot. I think it'd be cool if Hulk beat. I think it would be again similar to when he beat Thor, where he beat Thor, and Thor was like, "Yeah, I didn't go all out. I underestimated you. But then if we ever fought again, like I know how strong I need to be. I know how much power I need to use. So it'd be a lot more. It is a lot closer." Also, I am interested in what they do with Doomsday when he gets out of hell, because they're hyping him up like he's going to be like one of the next future events when he gets out of hell. So, and they said that like in the Doomsday in Hell synopsis, I think they said that like only Superman can kill him. So bit of both, bro. Bit of both, Rohan. It depends. Even when he's mad, he still retains. Like I don't know if you were there yesterday when I spoke about it, but Savage Hulk is a lot more of an instinctual, an intuitive fighter. What I mean by that is like, it's like he's used like he's used like the ground, for example, like he's like torn up the ground as like a means of like not cover fire, but like masking his presence almost like mid-fight and shit. But sometimes he just spurgs. Yeah, casual. Yeah, you're all right. Like even though I feel like Batman gets a lot more love, DC, from what I've seen, Superman is still like the overall poster boy. But then Superman also holds back more than Batman. So it's been an important one. I think it's got some interesting ideas, but I don't know, because the payoff is that Hulk just beats the dog shit out of the people he's fighting. I mean, the first few is okay, but I don't really like it being that way. Like if it's gonna persist that way, I won't like that. Like him beating up Brother Deep, was like an elder god, like him negging him was really cool. But yeah, I don't know, because like to me it's a bit like manga, where when a new series starts, the protagonist in like the first chapter, when he or she's introduced, will usually just shit on whatever villain is in that specific chapter. I live in another day kind of thing. And Hulk is a bit like that really. The only difference is that all the bad guys that come after Brother Deep are just getting the same treatment. So yeah, Storm, I think that the personally the pacing's fine. It's just the payoff for how Philip sets up these characters, the new monsters and whatnot, is kind of lackluster. Read DC or just Marvel? Sometimes I read DC. It depends what it is. If it's like some hand-to-hand combat shit like Batman, I do like Bronze Tiger, but he hasn't done a lot. He's done a lot recently. All those guys like Lady Shiva, Nightwing, Richard Dragon, another guy who I haven't done a lot lately. Then I will definitely read DC. And then recently I've been trying to read Doomsday's appearances, and I got up to just before he fights Superman in Death of Superman, like their final, like their proper like scrap before they both die. If you were to make a top 5 strongest Avengers, what would your list be, and how would you go about it? How I would go about it is, I guess, like pound for pound, like who is overall like I don't know if you would count Hulk as an Avenger, to be honest. A lot of people put him on there, but I mean, he, like, when Hickman brought him onto the team, if you look at the team in his first Avengers issue, that team is the MCU Avengers, and in my opinion, that was only the core team for like the first, not even half of that issue, because of the MCU. But let's say, let's just go with Hulk being one. It would be from strongest to weakest. Oh god, right now it'd be Hulk, Scarlet Witch, Thor. I'm trying to think if there's anyone else I'm missing, because there might be someone between Wonder and Thor. Oh yeah, Thor should be fine. They keep hyping Captain Marvel to be that level, but I don't think she's as strong as like an all-out Thor, or definitely want Hulk. So it would be those three for sure. He does. Listen, he's a part-time Avenger, I guess, in the sense that like ever since he joined back, I think it was like Avengers issue 100. It's most like I guess he's like an anti-hero now because of all the killing that he's done and shit. Like it was all for the most part, I'd say a righteous cause. He was protecting people and all that. But yeah, I would say he's more of a like if they let him back on, I'd be surprised. They let him back on the roster at any point in the future. But yeah, casual like Hulk. I think like I was thinking about it last night. And Hulk at this point is just a Dragon Ball character. He basically has key control, like when you look at the level of which he can hold back and how he holds back. And as he gets stronger, not only does he get physically stronger, but his resistances scale to his strength as well. Like you can mind hacks a calm Hulk, but you can't mind hacks an angry Hulk. And obviously his ability to resist transmutation, or map manipulation, all that shit, gets better as well. So, but yeah, I don't know about the last two, but it would be Hulk, Wanda, Thor. I'm just trying to think if anyone else got any more scaling lately. I mean, if it's Avengers, Loki is probably on there because he technically is an Avenger, unless you just mean Core 616. It'd be like Avenger Loki. But I don't know. What are your thoughts on paper scanning Westcoast Island level for the explosion of Rock Island? I actually thought about that a couple of months ago now, and I was thinking, can a calc get done for it? I don't know if I've ever seen one, but if they were to do that, I mean, I'd probably be fine with it, to be honest. I can't think of many. I will say I can't think of any anti-feats because all of the weapons in Resident Evil are just much more cracked than they are in real life. So, you have shit like Chris being right next to a RPG when it lands, and him being hit by the explosion, he's completely fine in 6. So, I'd probably be alright with it. I might, if I can find a solid shot of it, I'd see if I can get a calc done for it. Recommend watching the DC anime. Yeah, they do. They have solid choreography. The Batman movie where he's with Shiva, Richard Dragon, and Bronze Tiger is a good movie. Like if you just like hand-to-hand stuff. Well, that, and then there's like big demon snakes at the end. But yeah, Solid the Dragon. It's a good movie. It's got that like 70s martial arts movie vibes to it as well. I'm a live stream some of this vid then some of this death battle stream shit. So yeah, I can do this real quick. Get another movie in the MCU. I hope so. That'd be cool. Will he though? I mean, if he does, it won't be. I don't think it'd be very. I don't know. I don't think it'd be very mature. Like I could see it being like an Agents of Smash episode. And sure, like in Agents of Smash, like planets get blown up by Galactus and all that stuff. But when I mean mature, I mean like, if they focused on Bruce's childhood, well, they've got to show, domestic abuse and pretty much murder. So, and then obviously when they want to focus on some of the more recent stuff, the transformations for Hulk are a lot more gnarly and body horror focused than ones in the past. If I were to compare the ones in the past, I think it would be like to the one now. Sorry, it would be like I think it would be like a universal horror, like the black and white horror movies like Dracula and whatnot, compared to like the remake of The Blob or John Carpenter's A Thing. Like they're just two different levels of like horror. Alright, now do I stream this? Yeah, what up, Rockin' Alice? I'm just trying to First of all, I gotta turn this fucking music off. Okay. Right now, I'm just trying to share my screen. Who is Hulk's arch enemy? Is it the Abomination? Hulk's arch enemy. Physically, yeah, it's the Abomination. But I'd say, as of recent, it might be I think he might be the leader, to be honest. Like overall, as well. And I feel like he's like the direct kind of opposite for the Hulk. Whereas like, because Abomination's main thing is that, sure, he's a bit stronger than the Hulk, but he also retains his intelligence. Whereas like the leader is all intelligence, right? His intelligence matches Hulk's strength, and like that stuff from Immortal Hulk, where he almost ended the multiverse pretty much, because he was Toba's main goon, and he was gonna, or he pretty much did allow Toba to just use Hulk as a pawn, like a physical pawn. Totaled Iridox. Okay, all right, I'll log that. But as for now, can you guys see that? I think you can see it. You should be able to. Yeah, okay. Alright, tell me if you can hear it as well, please. Bit. What I saying?
Oh, it is really hard to time that. I thought I was going to get it.
You have to go.
I think it's so hard.
Thing like Liam knows more about Rick and Morty than me, and I know more about Doctor Who than he does. So like that was a very much a. I was in a screenwriting class, and I had to make one of the scripts that I wrote was inspired by Goku and Superman. Like that's how ingrained it was in my life. So it means a lot to me.
Yeah, I mean, even on top of that, like you reached out to the author of like the Dow Dragon Ball, and then like you were like
loud,
official, whatever, like make communities for both. You know what I mean? Like that was like the whole project. You wrote 3 different versions of the script, I think.
Yes, the original version that we did record was like 20 minutes longer than it ended up being. Which was material for where Superman 2 came from. Superman 2 we don't talk about.
Bro, I'm gonna tell you right now. The MCU. Like Kevin Feige holds Captain Marvel in a completely different tier to Thor and Hulk. The same how like she's like there's Wanda. I mean, it's like in my videos, like Wanda in the top tier, and then Carol is like between her and Thor and Hulk.
We also have an announcement for the Tournament of Champions coming up soon.
Welcome to the Tournament of Champions.
I don't think he ever will destroy a planet on screen.
Yeah, sure, okay. That's right. Yeah, we'll talk about which match.
Could do if he's angry enough, like they just said straight up said that.
Because we're almost done with the.
You know.
Welcome to the Tournament of Champions. Shout out to Mike.
Then if he was just left to be enraged over and over again, constantly, then he would just eventually destroy.
Shenanigans, which is really what this is going to turn into. The way this works is 2 of us are going to debate these characters against each other. I will be taking Godzilla. Liam is going to be repping the Hulk, and we're just going to basically spend the rest of this hour yelling at each other. It's going to be super fun.
I'll be yelling. I like yelling.
And it's our job to convince the jury that our respective character wins in a death battle. The jury consists of 3 seats. It's Chad.
We're going to find out, bro. In
Whatever.
In the new Captain America movie, what happened to the leader? Well, I will say, there's a comic run called Fury's Big Week, I think, where it showcases from the perspective of Fury and Black Widow what happens over the week in which Iron Man 2, Thor, and Hulk all take place in. And Black Widow runs into the leader as he's like his head is like all swollen, and he like starts like grabs her, and she just like beats him up, knocks him out.
Sure, I'll start.
60 seconds on the clock.
All right, see what they're gonna say.
So Ben's the Godzilla fan, so we got to pick Godzilla first. I love Godzilla, but the reason I wanted to pick him was more just out of the fun of representing him, not because I think that he wins, because I really don't. I tried, guys. I asked people in the Discord. I was like, give me some good Godzilla arguments, and he has gotten stronger in recent years. But Hulk has gotten ridiculously stronger in recent years. He is a comic book herald, fully fledged. He is now officially multiple times stated to be stronger, much stronger than Thor. He has classic like strength, speed, and durability scaling, which puts him at a level way above Godzilla. As generous as you want to be with Godzilla, his ability to absorb radiation is going to be a major counter to Godzilla, even with the fact that Godzilla can absorb radiation as well. And the fact that he's so much, ironically, the fact that he's so much smaller and so much faster means that he's going to be extremely difficult to hit, and he's immortal. It's a lot.
That was a fun little button.
Let me pause it. Also, this depends what Godzilla they're using as well. If it's anything outside of MonsterVerse or like Zilla, like the 1998 one, then Ushin, I guess. I don't think I'll be able to act like I'm, I guess, a authority on the subject, because I don't know the scaling for the rest of it, so I'll just be commenting on the Hulk stuff. How will Hulk get angry in his current state? He most likely won't. Like Smart Hulk has he's just constantly called like a calm individual. He should be like, so I don't know if I spoke about this, but there are in the director's commentary for the first Avengers movie, Joss Whedon says there are 2 sides of the Hulk, and by that he means the Hulk that's willing to be a team player and getting along with everyone, like he does at the end of the movie, and the Hulk that just wants to be left alone and it is easily triggered and enraged, and that is the Hulk that fights Thor on the helicarrier. And Smart Hulk should be even less angry than the Hulk that's, willing to get on with everyone, because Mark Ruffalo states in an interview when he's talking about, I think it's Ragnarok Hulk, the one that's gone through the Thomas Sakai's of like evolved as an entity, has developed. He's become like so mellowed out to an extent and calmer that he's been able to develop speech. Proper, like, it's broken up. It's like toddlers talk, but it's far more than what he could say before. And that's what Mark Ruffalo says. He says he's not as full as rage anymore. So him walking around regularly, he isn't as he shouldn't be as angry, and he also shouldn't be as strong. Just fair put, like there's the arguments that they get stronger over time in the MCU. And if you say Hulk has at a baseline, whatever you consider that to be, that is countered by the fact that he's also gotten weaker because he isn't as full as rage anymore. Anyway, let's fucking watch this because I don't know what Godzilla they're using.
I really don't like this. I would like to live in a world where I thought Godzilla won.
Well, maybe we can change that today. Maybe we can make today the day.
Hey, there you go. Change your world.
All right, let's talk about Godzilla. Godzilla is the ultimate atomic monster, the better version of Hulk, frankly. If the Hulk decided to actually be what the Hulk promises to be, there are a lot of different iterations of Godzilla, right? So in order for this to work at all as like a matchup against somebody like Hulk, has dozens and dozens of years of comics, I am going to be kind of compositing Godzilla here. I just feel like it's kind of necessary.
Composite Godzilla,
across movies, comics, anime, TV shows, etc. for quite some time.
Godzilla. So this is
even weird ones that can like manipulate space and time, kind of
more or less
mixed with some other ones as well. Of course, he's got
what they just did with
just walking around changes
Goku and Superman
near him. Of course, he lives underwater, but he's also capable of growing to a size that eclipses the entire universe.
What?
Huh? I will get to that.
Ben,
it is insane.
I can't wait to hear about that. But you didn't mention the tail slide. Come on, it's the coolest movie.
Oh, also, he can just completely break physics and just drop kick and slide.
You think MCU Hulk could recreate the feats from the 2008 Iron Game? I'm trying to think if he does anything impressive in that. I know he can like destroy buildings, like if you punch him hard enough or enough times. And in that regard, I would say, yeah, you could do that.
Slide through the air.
I love the tail slide, but I found something even fucking stupider. Mike, could you bring up image 11, please? I saw this and I was like, this is my counter to the Godzilla tail slide.
For Hulk, okay.
Yeah, so Hulk was falling through the air and he just flexed and then flew. Just by flexing his muscles.
Wait, what?
The Incredible Hulk is not so easily defeated. Possessing the mightiest muscles of any living mortal, he performs the seemingly impossible feat by sheer brute power alone, by actual muscle control. He forces his flattened body to lift itself up over the solid stone.
Go shit, bro.
I love the clarification because it's by sheer brute force power alone. You could have ended there by actual muscle control. Like the writer was like, I am saying this.
See, that is how insane. This is what I was saying about Hulk holding back, right? And that's not even like the more insane explanation behind that claim. His muscle control is that good that he can like basically negate gravity, more or less. Like, yeah, he's whack, bro.
Unclear.
For the day this show's about a podcast.
He just forces himself up, but it's flexing. Built different. Oh.
That's my fucking counter.
There was definitely a case where the artist, for some reason, thought Hulk could fly, and the writer was like, "Hey, you didn't realize this."
But that's how they do comics. That's how they did. Like Stan Lee would be like, Jack, just draw the entire. And I'll fill it in, and then I'll take credit for writing.
It's just like, what are you doing with this panel? It's like muscle flexing.
Okay, I'm gonna write something impossible for Stan. Why don't you justify this shit, asshole?
No.
Dude,
Kage, thanks for the memberships.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh
that would be a fun thing. We haven't done our like out of context comic book panel thing in such a long time. But what if we did? What if we did a thing where we dropped a panel with the text removed and we had to like fill it in?
Oh my god. Well, I do have some pretty crazy comic book things to talk about with Godzilla as well, but I do want to start with like, so some people may be familiar with the MonsterVerse Godzilla, right? The more recent, like Americanized version, which overall is pretty good, but it's nowhere near its most powerful version. So in the movies, probably the most impressive feats we've seen come from the Millennium era, which is sort of like 2000s era. There is an example where Godzilla. I don't remember the specifics of why this weapon exists, but for some reason, the Japanese Defense Force has built a satellite that shoots black holes at Earth, which sounds like a bad idea.
Hey, that's just
Yeah, why at Earth? Why did they miss?
I don't, again, I
Russia,
haven't watched it in a while, I don't know, but for some reason they have this, and they're experimenting with black holes essentially. That's where I think it's Megavirus. I think that's what it's called. That's where it comes from. The whole story is about trying to like get these weird bugs from another dimension back to the black holes.
That sounds
At
like a
one
Godzilla movie.
point- At one point, the black hole gun fires at Godzilla, and Godzilla shoots at the black hole and destroys it.
With atomic breath.
As,
Sweet.
as, with his atomic breath. What, with a gun, Chad?
He
you
played
shoot him
with
with an
fucking
AK.
basketball with Charles Barkley. Yes, of course I'm getting clarification. We've seen some shit. Okay.
Fires its atomic breath at the black hole as it drops down him, and when it impacts him, it explodes. It destroys the black hole, and Godzilla's gone. And so everybody on Earth is like, "Oh, I guess Godzilla's dead." And the end of the movie is him like coming back. He basically just comes up from under the ground. He just willed himself to survive a black hole, or the theory goes that, or the people don't believe that he was destroyed. That they think he was like sent to the dimension the Megavirus thing came from. So either he survived it and like left, sort of like just teleported away, or he got sucked into that dimension, surviving black hole, and then somehow got back. Just willed himself back. He's just back now. So. There's no real explanation for it outside of Godzilla's just fucking crazy. And his willpower being like a power is a recurring thing. I will bring that up later on in one of the comments. He basically outwills God and Satan. Spoiler. Yeah, Godzilla gets crazy. So and the other big example of like a movie with like Incredible Feat would be Final Wars, when he's fighting literally every monster that has ever existed, and the aliens send like a giant meteor at him. And again, he does the exact same thing with the black hole. He fires his atomic breath at it. It still hits him, but then when like the smoke clears, he's just standing there, just fine. There's like this massive crater around him. He's just like chilling, like, as if nothing.
Since Abomination stayed 2 times stronger than Base Hulk, do you think he would defeat Thor, the Hulkbuster, and no call it Thanos? No, because he's twice as strong. If you do take that statement, he's twice as strong, but he evidently can't put Hulk down. I mean, he probably would have beaten Thor. He probably beat Thor. But he evidently cannot beat or well, actually, it depends what Thor as well, because if Thor uses his lightning, then I like, if it's awakened Thor, then no. But if it's Hammer Thor, yes. The Hulkbuster, it really depends on how you view Hulk in that fight, because for me, it's like what I mentioned earlier about there are two sides to Hulk: the team player and the Spurg. And in my mind, Hulk at the start of in the Hulkbuster fight is the Spurg Hulk, but he's not really enraged beyond that. He's just confused and hallucinating. So, and that Hulk should have been the one that fought Abomination as well. And Abomination obviously couldn't put him down. Fast enough. So the thing is, though, is that like Abomination, just being smarter, just fights worse than Hulk does in that fight. Like the fight performance, like earlier when I spoke about Hulk's intuitiveness and whatnot. That fight is a good example of that. Obviously, it's MCU, but it's still a good reflection of that statement I said. Whereby Hulk's doing all this stuff, at the start of the fight, he like uses a police car as boxing gloves to more or less enhance his strikes, and when he's doing that, he's like using angles on Abomination. Abomination can't pin him down. And then obviously he didn't overall doesn't do anything to Abomination, and he just kicks him off him because he's just that much he's just a lot stronger. But that's just like an example of that. But Abomination is just like the thing he wanted to beat, which is the whole the monster, right? And he's so much of a monster, he just forgets how to fight like a like the military man that he was. So I think that that he probably wouldn't be able to beat the Hulkbuster. And I mean, him fighting like a Spurg is also backed up in Shang-Chi as well. Like, for some reason, he can't control forgets to control his power or some shit. And Wong's like, yeah, we got to work on that. So I think the Hulkbuster would have beaten him. Because it would just be You'd think with Captain America's coming Hulk strength, yeah, you would think that, but they just you know don't reflect what should be obvious. 2012 Hulk design explanation was legal to Marvel superheroes. He made the gloves he subconsciously covered them in gamma. Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't know why he would have done that if he couldn't have made them stronger. So most likely, anyways, carry on with this. I mean, so far what they've said is like Godzilla can either tank a black hole or come back from being BFR'd. Okay, anyway, Hulk can do both of those things, bro.
So he's taken some serious punishment that is comparable to something like the Hulk would take on like a normal everyday basis. But of course, I'm sure you got some crazy shit for the Hulk.
That's okay. I was gonna like come in with the like that's what Hulk does every day. But yeah. I want to bring up a feat that I think doesn't look as impressive just at first viewing, but I want to kind of go into it just a little bit. Mike, could you bring up image 1? And I'll key you for image 2 because it's a two-parter. But so this is Devil Hulk. This is Immortal Hulk. He is significantly stronger than he was before. Thor says this. He punches Thor once, and it's revealed on the next page that Thor has a concussion and can't see. And he lost it too. But that's actually not the best part of this. At the bottom, it's hard for you guys to see because of the quality. But like for people watching, Hulk punches Captain America's shield. Captain America is blocking with the shield. He punches it once. He does not crack it. He gives Cap a nosebleed through the shield.
I'm surprised that they even they brought that up. That is, yeah, I'm very surprised that they brought that up. That he punches with enough force that the force is able to penetrate the nullifying effects of the shield somewhat, and Captain America feels it. And obviously, the shield at this point is an Uru of an alloy of Uru, vibranium, and adamantium. So that is kind of cracked. But I mean, he just one shots T'Challa's suit as well in the same comic. So like he overloads it.
The shield has
It's
blocked
all
all
vibration.
kinetic energy.
Yeah.
Aside from like the only times we've seen it being broken are from like the Infinity Gauntlet, right? Like reality warping shit. He gave Cap a fucking nosebleed through the shield. And on the second page, image 2, Mike, they clarify that Hulk in this state is vastly stronger than he ever has been. Thor says that he is a immortal being that has transcended in power and become effectively like a god at his level. Which I only bring up because like Hulk classically was always sort of like at Thor's level, but maybe a little bit less. But it was unclear because in the World Breaker arc, Thor wasn't there; he wasn't present for it, so it wasn't 100%. This is making it 100% clear that Hulk at like Devil Hulk is.
Okay, for the world that statement about the Thor wasn't there, so Bruce doesn't think that anyone can stop Hulk around that era, and that would include Thor. And Thor was there when he fought Scar, and like when he came back. So
Surpasses him, and there's now like a flood of statements of this being the case. That's just a basic thing. To get into something a little crazier, this isn't even Devil Hulk. This is Mindless Hulk, and this is image 7. So Mindless Hulk is a personality of the Hulk that is based on Banner's fears about what the Hulk could do if he wasn't in control. So when Banner's psyche committed like psychic suicide or whatever, he was no longer in the Hulk's brain, Mindless Hulk took over and fought in this dimension called the Crossroads, which is a literal crossroads to an infinity of dimensions. And he fights the Euthos there and punches so hard that the vibrations from his attack travel through, and it says this, the infinite dimensions. The convulsive force of their coming together reverberates across the pathways leading from the crossroads to an infinite number of dimensions. And we see like these 3 panels here are from the different dimensions the Hulk visited earlier in the story, literally being shaken. The entire dimensions are being shaken from the impact of his blow.
I have an interesting question. I'm not trying to just semantic
No,
argument,
go
but
ahead.
if this is the crossroads, the point
Yes.
where all dimensions connect, wouldn't that be like having a microphone to all dimensions? You know what I mean? So like if you punch, it's going to go to all of them because you're at the intersection point.
It's traveling across those roads, but like the fact that the vibrations can travel to an infinity of dimensions at all is evidence that there is an infinite amount of being force being put into it. Yeah, it's less impressive than if the dimensions were completely separated.
Yeah.
But it's still traveling that distance, A, in a finite amount of time,
Yo,
which is
this
too,
dude's
and B,
insane.
like the energy still has to like, it's
oh shit.
still affecting all of those dimensions and physically shaking them, like earthquakes, lightning, fucking thunder and shit.
Cat and
It's
dog
nuts.
living together.
Total anarchy. Yeah. Those are my starting Hulk feats.
There's probably more to that infinite one though. Like that
I mean, you can say that. I've read the comic. That is what it is.
I just remember being impressed when I was looking at the Hulk and he grabbed the tectonic plate.
I will say the fact that he does that while clashing with Ironclad of all people is kind of whack. Like Ironclad is that guy.
Place of exploding planet and pulled it back together. And like that's
Yeah,
pretty,
yeah. I mean, there's also I can mention the Darwin tweet that we love bringing up because
I
there's
love
a bit of extra context.
That's my
Yeah, so
favorite.
you guys know this. There's a mutant called Darwin, who of course is the first one to die in first class.
Which is
So
ridiculous.
fucking stupid. But his power is to adapt to any threat. And when he was met with the Worldbreaker Hulk, World War Hulk, same personality but like not lesser power. He
Yeah,
teleported him away to
good
different
job
locations.
you
His ability to
mentioned
adapt
that.
to Hulk is
Good
just
job you mentioned
Hulk
that.
goes to swing a punch at him, and he appears on the opposite side of the planet.
As if that would matter.
They put him the world away because
Yes.
the only way to deal with the Hulk is to
And
not
I'm
fight him.
terrified because you'd be like, well, okay, Darwin's adaptability power like has a limit, right? Okay, sure, yeah, everything has a limit. He once adapted to Hela, the Norse god of death, who can instantly will people to die, and he adapted to the god of death
Will. He adapted
ability
to
to kill. So I think that's more of a flavorful thing, but I think that gives you an idea of how fucking stupid World War Hulk is. Plus he fights the Sentry. Devil Hulk later fights the Sentry, and is clearly stronger. Like Sentry goes 2 punches at him, and Hulk blocks it with 1 hit. So yeah, he's above the Sentry. We can get into Sentry.
Yeah, the Sentry feat he's talking about is, I think it's in the most recent Marvel Knight stuff, and it's, I mean, he pretty much nailed it. Like, but what it is like Hulk throws a punch, and Sentry needs both hands to block it. So.
Scaling, but it's wacky. It's wacky. But yeah, that's where I'm gonna lead off.
Wait.
Oh yeah, he's above the Sentry. We can get into Sentry scaling, but it's wacky. It's wacky. But yeah, that's where I'm gonna lead off. Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's an unknown version of the Sentry.
Yeah, also, Mike, let me know if you got me.
I mean, he should be like.
But you just bring it up whenever you get it.
He scales above
I'm
like.
going to share some images as well here. So I mentioned.
The thing about the Sentry scaling, him fighting Sentry and World War Hulk is that Sentry is just insane. In that, like he's very mentally unstable, and he is actually getting more unstable over the course of the fight when he shows up, which is stated in a guide. So Hulk isn't. That's not a really solid. It's a solid feat, obviously, because it happens, and Hulk pretty much beats him. But I mean, by solid is like it's not very good. Like it's not as good as a lot of people think it is. The better scaling is when Sentry fights. There's a comic run called Hulk Smashes Avengers, and it's just like an anthology of different Hulk run-ins with the heroes of Earth. And in one of the issues, it's actually Red Hulk fighting the new Avengers, like the ones that Tony was in charge of when he was like the leader of Shield. And this is set when Red Hulk first shows up, so when Bruce is still in prison after World War Hulk. And what happens is that Tony's team of him, Ares, Miss Marvel, Sentry, and Wonder Man all pull up on Red Hulk, and Red Hulk beats them all. Like they can't get him. Sentry at one point, like I think he blasts him, and Red Hulk just laughs at him. And then there's an interview where the writer of that comic, Fred Van Lente, I think his name is, pretty much says that like all these guys were going all out on Red Hulk. And obviously there's a statement that Sentry, when he's under like the guidance of certain people, he's more stable than he is when he's left to his own devices. So, for example, like if he was with Reed Richards before the events of World War Hulk, like if he wasn't just at home, the likelihood of him showing up sooner would have been a lot higher. Because he would have been less like his mental affliction wouldn't have gotten hold of him for such a long time. Zeno, yeah. So we are watching a Death Battle cast, which is basically when 2 out of 4 of these guys is reps a character each, and the characters that are being repped today are Hulk versus Godzilla. I just want to see what they say. So the Godzilla that's being used is composite Godzilla, and like I clarified earlier, like unless it's honestly MonsterVerse, I can't like give any like in-depth thought on it really. So I'm mainly just going to be commenting on the Hulk stuff. Funny thing is when you find out. Yeah. I mean, also if you use the what ifs are very iffy to use, like the World War Hulk what ifs. But if you were to go with those, I mean, they just show that Hulk could have beaten Sentry in the one where it's the one where like Hulk pretty much beats everyone, but then he just gives up anyway. And then Secret Invasion happens, and like the Earth just gets fucked basically, and he ends up becoming a Herald of Galactus at the end. So yeah, if you go with that, then yeah, he just would have beaten him. But anyway, but the central thing in regard to that, what I wrote Red Hulk is that when Green Scar shows back up again, he negs Red Hulk. Like it's bad, like it's really bad, and that should be at that point that is Red Hulk at his strongest because he's embraced the Hulk inside of him. Like the reason why he wanted to become a Hulk in the first place is because he, at the end of the day, that was to kill Bruce, to kill the Hulk. That is his entire reason for living. So this Hulk, this Red Hulk with a new look, the solid resolve, goes to the White House, takes over the White House, and then fights Green Scar, and then gets gets folded, regardless. And then it was the last that Tony uses. Yeah. That is an important thing. Is so when Tony siphoned off the gamma radiation from World Breaker Hulk at the end of World War Hulk, the leader of MODOK intercepted that satellite and took the gamma radiation from it, and that's the gamma radiation they then mix with the cosmic rays to make Red Hulk. And Red Hulk still gets folded, and then there's also this stuff of like, Savage Hulk getting stronger than World War Hulk immediately after because he's able to resist the Sentry's anger negating aura when they're in Las Vegas. And I think it was Miss Marvel implies that only Hulk would have been able to stop the Wendigo invasion as well while Sentry's there. So, wouldn't Godzilla just lose? I've never heard of Universal Zilla before. Listen, bro, I have, and like I said, I'm not the guy to give the scaling for that. But I think you'll probably be surprised. Obviously, these guys aren't going to know the scaling as well as some of the actual people in the power scaling community. But I think what they will bring up will probably help. I don't really want to say educate because it's kind of condescending, but like inform you about where he could scale. This is composite, but Godzilla, by the way. But I think
Godzilla
he
Power
should
of Light.
mention.
So there was a comic called Godzilla in Hell. It's a 5-issue
He should mention the either the source or the era of which the continuity of which these feats take place in as well.
series of Godzilla just basically getting sent to hell and having to fight his way out. And through that process, he encounters. It's fascinating. Like the comic has almost no dialogue, so it's mainly just watching Godzilla kind of wander around killing shit.
I love it. Awesome.
There are a few occasions where dialogue comes into play. One of those is when he meets God. So Mike, if we could bring up Godzilla in Hell 1. We do have a couple of these images. So this is when he meets God. God is represented as like a mountain. I think it's going for the whole like fun comedy sort of thing, like the layers and whatnot. He meets God, and God is like, "Yo, you're gonna serve me. You are a very powerful warrior. You're gonna be part of my army against Satan." So Godzilla's like, "Nah." And there are these kind of angels running around.
Angels.
The way so these two panels are a little bit separate from each other. So the first one ends with him grabbing one of the angels and just eating. Right? And God is like, "No, you're gonna serve me. I'm gonna force you to." So he basically banishes Godzilla into another layer of hell or whatever. It's not explained. There's no dialogue, barely any dialogue. Where he meets Space Godzilla, who is a clone of him, who's violent, etc. Space Godzilla is kind of controlled by Satan at the time, and then Godzilla is like God's champion, right?
As we all know, Godzilla, God's champion.
Godzilla's like, or God is like, "You're gonna fight for me and kill Satan." And he does. He kills Space Godzilla, wins the day, and God is like, "Good, now you are my servant." And Godzilla's obviously like, "What? No, there's just no reason to." So he then we get to this top panel, this right page here, where he kills God. He shoots a beam of atomic breath, fused with holy energy, because now he has that, because of course he does, and kills God. Starts eating angels and demons. Golden and red was there. And in the last panel that I mentioned, we worship you now.
What?
There's no more God.
Godzilla
the angels now serve Godzilla. So Godzilla has become God.
Yeah.
But that's not all. If we bring up number 2 in this sequence. So he's defeated God and is now God, right? This is Satan, or the representative of Satan. He's never named, but it's made pretty clear that he is the like overseer of hell. This weird mass on a mountain that basically blocks the exit from hell. That gate is the exit. Godzilla has to kill Satan in order to get out of hell. So if we bring up the next one, number 3, Satan attacks him with a flurry of these demons that devour Godzilla. Now, Godzilla is completely eaten away. The only thing left are his bones. believe it's supposed to be a reference to the first movie, of course. However, Godzilla is unstoppable. He has a willpower that apparently trounced God, so why couldn't he also trounce Satan? Bring up the last image
Or dead.
before. So the demon bats that just ate him are now under Godzilla's control because he is God and he is now the devil. They reform Godzilla's body and kill Satan.
Oh my
That's
God.
awesome. He is now a demon bat Godzilla, and then he just leaves hell.
Can we appreciate the commitment to a chat bubble for every single demon?
Yeah.
It is
great.
insane. Can we also file this away for Skeletober?
Yeah.
Yes,
I have to say, I love this comic. I love this. I love that feat.
it's
Um,
wild.
I love
awesome.
Godzilla so much. I love Godzilla so much. I wish he won this fight. I
I
genuinely.
think
I'm
that-
yelling right now. Like, I
I
wish
think that would be
I-
really hard to argue that you could kill Godzilla if he could outwield God and Satan, like and destroy them with their own power.
Well, I will say, okay, that is very impressive. You know who's also
You don't sound
as a
very
direct-
impressed.
I look, yes, defeating God and Satan, very impressive. Less impressive when you don't have a level of context to how powerful they are, especially when you're comparing it to a comic book hero, because God and Satan means a lot less. For instance, there are multiple Satans in Marvel. The Hulk.
So, look, I just need to feel the need to clarify this again, just in case anyone else new has joined. Like I said, I'm not an expert on any of this shit for Godzilla, but from what I know is that comic where he beats those deities doesn't have any scaling in the comic. Like, he doesn't do anything. What it comes from is statements from the people that worked on the comic, like the writers. So then it goes into well, how valid do you think writer statements are? As someone who uses writer statements, answer would be, for me, yes, I think they're valid. So, well, obviously, again, it would depend on what iteration. So it's if Peter David tried to comment on, say, what Devil Hulk could do during Al Ewing's run, I wouldn't use that. But so long as they talk about the material in which they've worked on, had a direct involvement on, or an authoritative position on, that's fine with me. So they pretty much say that this god is a very top tier deity of the IDW multiverse. And the IDW multiverse is shit like Transformers in, the D&D comics are in that, all that kind of stuff. I think Power Rangers is in it. I think. So he should be at least multiversal. That obviously isn't enough for Hulk. So what it then gets down to is, okay, well, these verses that this god sits above, the I just brought Transformers D&D. What scaling do they have? Right? What get? What's the deep dive into that? From what I've heard about D&D, that shit's cracked, just very, very broken. The issue is for me is do the comics take place in the same universe as that and whatnot? Because every D&D session is different. And if those are canon to each other, if each one of those is a different universe, well then, just like comics, the scaling is different per universe. For example, the MonsterVerse DC crossover that is going on right now, the Superman, Batman, Hawkgirl, Green Lantern, Flash, all those guys in that comic are stated twice, once by the writer and once on the DC official universe, to be a different universe to Prime Universe, one that we've never seen before. So Godzilla, for example, scaling above Superman, just beating Superman, that doesn't mean anything, because how strong do you say that Superman is, right? So it's a slippery slope, and you just have to delve more and more into it. But I think saying right now that they're both multiversal, sorry, is fine, based on what these guys have used.
Hulk draws his power from the ultimate Satan in Marvel. Fuck Mephisto, fuck Dormammu. He draws his power, the third form of gamma radiation. It's a wave of particle, and it's hell magic drawn from the one below all. the one below all is the opposite to the one above all, who is the ultimate god in Marvel. And
Sure.
there's simply no way that God and Satan in Godzilla is as powerful as what you get with Marvel's cosmology.
How is there no way? Why couldn't they be equivalent? Because they're basically the same thing in that
Because
regard.
Marvel's cosmology, like the Marvel universe, is fucking huge. There's a multiverse of infinite universes, infinite temporal spatial dimensions, and the one above all is beyond all of that, as is the one below all, right? Like the amount of universe that they control is a lot bigger. So like God and Satan, maybe you could argue in the, I mean, there isn't, at least from what you said, that they control the entire universe. But let's say that they do. Let's say God and Satan in Godzilla control the entire universe level beings. That's nothing compared to the one above all and below all. And the Hulk did have a clash with the one below all, and did not fully beat like his full power, but it is stated that his will overpowered him in that moment, the one below all, when he thunderclaps the big cloud away. So in terms of willpower, like the Hulk is significantly greater. The Hulk has been stated to be able to fight ad infinitum, like forever. Like as long as he can maintain his anger, he will never stop. And there are stories where he does fight for like infinity and like lives. There's like one bad future storyline with the Hulk, like it's like thousands of years in the possible future, and he's still Hulk, and he stays Hulk because he knows if he like reverts to Banner, he'll die because Banner died. Not that it matters what the Devil Hulk thinks, because they gave him the green door, which allows him to immediately resurrect, as long as his body isn't completely vaporized. Now you might say, hey, Godzilla has a handy dandy ability to instantly vaporize things with his atomic breath, but guess who absorbs atomic energy? The Hulk.
Does
Like, and
Godzilla
Godzilla
also?
They both. That's correct.
So couldn't he absorb like the one above all power if Hulk were throwing that at him?
They
If
both.
Hulk was to throw that at him, yes, but Hulk obviously can also punch. I mean, it's Godzilla.
Let me make this argument. Like the both of them can absorb each other's radiation. This is a common thing actually when Hulk fights other gamma mutates. They're both absorbing from each other. The difference is that Hulk primarily uses his gamma energy to physically punch people, which Godzilla can't absorb. Godzilla also uses the atomic breath, which would be just feeding the Hulk. He would just be absorbing it. So yeah, eventually he could stop doing that. But anytime he uses the atomic breath as an attack, it's going to be benefiting the Hulk, which is going to allow Hulk to absorb more energy from Godzilla than Godzilla would from absorbing like what the Hulk is passively radiating.
Yeah, but have you considered
So with that, that should be more or less true. I don't know if you can say that Godzilla can't absorb the gamma radiation that would come from his physical strikes. And what I mean by that is, like, I don't know if Godzilla has like passive radiation absorption, like if he touches him, he absorbs it. But Hulk should be able to absorb his radiation. And even if you say, well, it's foreign, well, it's like foreign, different kind of radiation. Well, Hulk has absorbed that before, and his body's adjusted to it. And it kind of like exponentially amped him because he was pretty much he turned into a nuclear reactor having a meltdown. You know, to put it in simple terms. And that's when Amadeus Cho steps in and absorbs his radiation.
considered this, Liam? Show it, Mike.
So what?
I think he gave for the membership. He said he got it.
It's a good bit.
Yeah, we're gonna do that.
I never thought of that.
It's got a little bit of
Okay, I mean, there you go.
What am I supposed to say to that? And let's talk about fighting Satan, because there is another Satan, quote unquote, at the Hulk plot. Did you bring up image 3, and we're gonna go through 3, 4, 5, and 6. So
Okay,
this is
you
the story.
through this. 'Cause
Yeah,
we gotta get to Godzilla Ultima.
Wait. Okay, so Godzilla or Hulk. Doctor Strange was. This is in the future. Doctor Strange is fucked up. He's beaten. Dormammu is here. He's going to unleash his full magical might against Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange pulls out the Hulk's head, which is still alive. And the next page, Mike,
Of course. Thank you.
Dormammu shoots a magical bolt at it. The Hulk is fully revived because Doctor Strange says, "I changed the Hulk's energy absorption from gamma radiation to magic." He might not have needed to. I don't know when this is compared to like the reveal that gamma radiation is hell magic, but he absorbs it fully. Next page, Mike, and is revitalized, completely unharmed, and then unleashes it back at Dormammu, his own attack, amplified by the Hulk's ability to amplify the energy that he absorbs. Next page, Mike. And then completely fucking vaporizes Dormammu. Dormammu, one of Marvel's Satans, a being that can fight against the entire race of Celestials, like multiversal level beings.
Okay, that comic, that all happens, and so Hulk's ability to absorb gamma radiation and utilize it basically gets turned into the ability to absorb magic, like any type of magic, pretty much. And he just absorbs Dormammu's magic. For some reason, Dormammu was goes all out against like an old Doctor Strange who can't do anything. And then he just redirects and kills him. So this is a weird thing. So the fact that all Doctor Strange did was change his appetite of what he's able to absorb, the type of stuff he's able to absorb, his ability, like the amount of energy the radiation he's able to absorb should be 1-to-1 with the amount of magic he's able to absorb. So he should be able to absorb as much energy, much radiation that, in comparison to what Dormammu is outputting in terms of magic here. Yes, for Hulk Hulk and Titans can move. The thing is, all right. So, I mean, Savage Hulk just beat Titan, bro. Titan isn't really an active persona at the moment, so.
Like incredible power, one attack. The Hulk is able to absorb his magic and shoot it back.
Fully
Now,
regenerate and shoot it back.
and shoot it back. Doctor Strange explicitly did not make the Hulk stronger here. He just changed what kind of energy the Hulk absorbed. So this same level of energy is what the Hulk is capable of doing with Gamma.
Yeah,
that's
so
pretty
what
nice.
I did see somebody in the chat ask, would Godzilla be smart enough to not fire atomic breath once he realizes the Hulk could absorb it? He actually would. He would be able to understand that. Most versions of Godzilla have a decent level of intelligence. There are some that are obviously just animalistic. They just charge forward and kill shit. The Heisei era in particular has a lot of these. But more often than not, Godzilla's not only capable of like understanding strategy, he can kind of talk in some directions. Like there's literally examples of him talking to people. So yeah, he would be able to figure out. There's definitely examples of him like strategizing against the monster.
Yeah, but when he's fighting, he's not just rolling the dice.
It's a little odd to just randomly say, but it is a great segue to our sponsor, Misty Mountain Gaming Dice. Thanks, Jeff. The show is brought to you by Misty Mountain Gaming.
Yeah,
Misty
I'm
Mountain
gonna
Gaming
pay
Company
for
has a
this
catalog
ad,
of dice of all sorts of materials like stone, resin, glass, and metal. They offer free
Okay.
shipping.
Or
Yeah, that'd be great.
everybody needs a pair of dice. If you have some
they were
pro, wait, you'll
RTX.
get theirs. All right. So,
Yeah, you might have seen them there. All right. Let's talk about, you know what, actually, I'm going to talk about Godzilla Ultimate a little bit, and then we'll talk about Godzilla, or not Godzilla, Goku versus Superman a little bit,
Godzilla.
and the tournament thing. Goku'zilla. Goku.
That'd be a fusion. Goku and
Yeah,
Godzilla.
that'd be great.
Goku and Godzilla wearing the
That'd be
power. All right, so Godzilla Ultima. I just have one picture for this because it's too complicated to try to talk too much. I was going to bring up the image for Godzilla Ultima just so you guys can see what I'm talking about here. This is Godzilla Ultima.
Look at those thighs.
He's a big boy with big thighs and an unhinged mouth with multiple rows of teeth. So to understand Godzilla Ultima, those of you who have watched Shin Godzilla, which is one of the best Godzilla films. It's like a legitimately really good movie. In Shin Godzilla, Godzilla starts as like a lesser form, I guess, and evolves over time, right? This is a recurring theme with Godzilla in other iterations. In Godzilla Earth, Godzilla, when he first arrives, Godzilla is just like a normal Godzilla. But in that iteration, Godzilla wins. And then we go back to Earth several thousand years later, and Godzilla has evolved into this massive creature. It's like the biggest Godzilla that's ever existed. And Godzilla rules the Earth. That's why it's called Godzilla Earth. So Godzilla evolving is like a thing, right? In Godzilla Singular Point, they do a similar thing. However, they up the ante a lot. So the whole idea behind Singular Point is the end of the universe is coming. There are these singular points that are kind of bleeding into our universe and spreading this red dust. That's what the red, you see it in the image, right? This red dust seems to be like bringing upon, it's supposed to bring upon the end of the universe, right? And everybody's like, where is this coming from? Like, what is this? It's coming from an alternate dimension. Okay. And other kaiju can exist while the red dust exists. It turns out the red dust's origin point is Godzilla from another dimension. Okay. And so this Godzilla sends a piece of himself into our dimension, which becomes Godzilla Ultimate, or Ultima. Godzilla Ultima is the most powerful version of Godzilla. It can just, it quickly evolves to this point, but it could continue to evolve. It could continue to evolve to become bigger than the Earth itself, to become bigger than the universe itself, and destroy everything. And it's implied, we never see it, but there is a true form of Godzilla in the other dimension that is already bigger than the universe. This Godzilla Ultima isn't even the real Godzilla. There's a massive Godzilla in another universe.
I mean, listen, whoever said Godzilla isn't, never heard of Universal Godzilla before, there you go. They're that's dumb before. That's crazy. That is an ugly Godzilla design though. Like I don't know why his thighs are that big. Savage will be okay, so the persona sheet is more or less fine to use. Just like I don't think I need to like say how Hulk's powers work. Like his anger just directly correlates to how strong he is. Now yes, there is a bit of battle of wills stuff to it. So obviously in Hulk Volume 2, when they fight Gil Hulk. And then in there's a comic where Hulk and Bruce, it's basically set during his first time, like one of his first times as Hulk. It's around the time where Savage Hulk kind of like becomes his own entity and like manifests, and they're fighting in their mind. And it's stated as a battle of wills, but then Hulk just starts to get angrier and overpower him, and at that point it just doesn't matter. So like while I agree, yeah, it's inherently it is wonky, but when you like look into it and look at the consistency of like, well, Hulk just gets angrier and gets stronger, whether it's mentally or physically, it should be fine to use. Especially when you look at there's a statement I brought up earlier of when Hulk gets angrier, he can't be mind hacked as easily as when he's in base. And then obviously you have like Devil Hulk, who Leader was able to lock up at first, right? Because he wouldn't be as angry when when Zemny kind of like creates that opening for him to when he mind axes him, Devil wouldn't be as angry at that point. But when Devil gets mad when he sees Leader like put Bruce and Savage Hulk and Joe Fix in danger, then he becomes strong enough to break out of that mental seal. Issue 7, 14, Savage Hulk. I don't think like if they're that much. If there's that difference in strength, I don't think you can just punch. I don't think you could be able to replicate what Hulk did. I don't think he took him off guard. The reason why I say Titan is above Hulk is because he exists as both personality and anger level. Well, the thing is like Savage Hulk has always been that kind of level of anger, where he truly represents the ad. Infinitum, I think it's like he just gets like all of those personalities to get infinitely stronger, but he's like the true embodiment of that. Because at the end of the day, he is the childhood rage. He's a representation of Bruce's childhood rage and trauma, and that's where the anger comes from primarily. So him being the primary representation of that. I feel like him being like overall the strongest, like pound for pound the strongest. Which I mean should be fine. Plus Titan Titan's fucked at the moment. Like he's just a husk in Banner's brain, and he doesn't even have the main source of his power, which is obviously the spec that he got from Baby Leader for the Green Door. So.
Capable of just destroying others. And this idea of Red Dust is him basically like coming into our universe and destroying
So
it.
a piece of the true Godzilla can destroy the universe, just a piece.
Yeah, so essentially, this is, I think, in a way, like a building off of again the idea that like Godzilla became God and Satan in Godzilla in Hell. Like this is a god, Godzilla. He is treated as a god. He is talked about as this like prophesied entity that will come to destroy the world. They compare him to like the Greek gods that wanted to wipe out the mankind. Like it is this massive universal cataclysm event that will destroy multiple universes anytime this Red Dust shows up. It is, yeah, in a way, it's similar to Darkseid, who sends an avatar of himself. You could think of Godzilla Ultima as an avatar of the true Godzilla. It's insane.
Like Elliot said, Godzilla.
Singular Point came out like 2 years ago, I think, and when it did, I haven't watched the whole thing. It's very confusing. It really dives into the math of like multiple dimensions and whatnot. It doesn't really explain a lot. Like that's kind of the point, right? The idea is that a singular point is about when a differential equation has something that is undefined. Essentially, like that's the very basic.
Well, what I do know about Singular Point is that in it they basically established the Monsterverse as an alternate universe in the Godzilla multiverse, because they show I think it's the Rodan from that in when they go for like a montage of the different universes, which would if you use the obviously that Monsterverse is in the multiverse anyway, based on the DC stuff, and then Godzilla 2014 when he's in the game that came out on the PS4 probably like a decade ago now, something like that, just over.
Just basic way to describe it. And I think that's the idea here, is that these singular points are undefinable. Godzilla is this like unexplainable entity that arrives in our universe to destroy everything. Which is fascinating and also very hard to argue with because I don't know what it could do. It could just blow the fuck out of everybody. So that's probably the strongest Godzilla that exists. In fact, it definitely is. There's no other Godzilla that is a god in another dimension.
I was hearing about that during the debate process, and I was like,
yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that. And I when I say that, I was like, I don't know about that. As in, like, yeah, this dude's capping. I was like, I just genuinely don't know.
Yeah, I hadn't seen it before. I watched a little bit of it in preparation for this, and I was like, I don't know what's happening. There's a lot going on, but the animation's pretty cool. And Ultima looks pretty dope. So his other forms are very strange. He's definitely go the fish route a bit. But anyway, Ultima being some like greater deity that can influence and destroy other universes is basically peak Godzilla power level, right?
Yeah.
And certainly Hulk can compete with that, but I do think that like the uncertainty and the like nebulousness of both these characters is ultimately going to be like the question that I feel a lot of people have to answer. Like, how much do you buy into how unexplainable their powers are? Like how far they can go with them. And whichever one you buy more, that's the one you vote for.
Remember when Godzilla was just doing a rubber suit, fighting other monsters, throwing them into buildings?
We'll say,
Oh, I was gonna say, you go.
Thanks, Direct.
I was just gonna wrap it up with like Godzilla Ultima or Godzilla Singular Point is crazy. If you have not seen Shin Godzilla though, it is legitimately really good. It is fantastic.
Shin Godzilla's awesome. My favorite Godzilla. Yeah.
Okay, we're blowing through time. This has been so interesting.
I could do more arguments for Hulk, but
I would like to get to the Government thing real quick, and we do have to do the poll, but we can maybe do some like quick.
do a recap thing.
All right,
There you go.
Let's very quick talk about what is going on. All right, so we're gonna first talk about the
Tournament champions.
Tournament of Champions.
Welcome to the Tournament of Champions.
Going today.
Well, I'm just embracing it now.
There
That
you
it just happens. So, let's do some more Tournament of Champions. Let's do it.
Welcome to the Tournament of Champions.
Because we are getting to the very end of this, guys. So for those of you just coming in, this whole thing has been about you guys voting for a matchup that is going to happen next year in the next season of Death Battle.
Oh,
Tournament
okay,
is,
okay.
Several, many weeks, like 8 weeks at this point or so. And we've seen a lot of matchups, really cool matchups from your guys' suggestions in the Discord, make it through the tournament. And this is the last semifinal round to go into the final round. The winner of this last semifinal with 48% of the vote is Kratos versus Asura.
Oh, okay.
Congratulations. There we
okay.
go for that. That's a pretty decent win, although Sans versus the judge was pretty close. I mean, 37% of the votes.
Do you think
That
it was very
yeah.
competitive?
Do you think the Asura reference in Scooby Courage was and gonna, like, help play that? Like,
That is an interesting death battle. No, just because of like Asura is basically in simplistic terms, is basically the Japanese Kratos. And that's why I've always found the matchup interesting. Scaling wise, I don't know.
Kratos Asura was also in the last thing we did similar to this last year, and it got pretty far as well. So
That's second place. So
I
I
think
think place again. It'd be funny spot.
I think it's the most popular episode idea. I mean, I'm sure we'll probably do it at some point, but if you guys vote for it, in the finals, that just means it absolutely happens. All right, so let's find out what the finals are going to be.
Welcome to the Tournament of Champions.
Like, what's Hulk versus?
This are going to be.
Welcome to the Tournament of Champions final round.
The semifinals were
Oh.
well fought, but these two matches have risen above the rest.
But which one will be the episode chosen for season 11 of Death Battle?
Will it be the Furious God Slayers, Kratos versus Asura?
Or the furriest cartoon carnivores, Wile E. Coyote versus Tomcat?
Vote for your favorite matchup to determine which will happen next year on Death Battle.
And if you're not a champion yet, click that join button on our YouTube channel and make your voice heard.
oh
pairing.
man.
So
What a
furious,
pairing.
furious. I was like, yeah, I'm fucking right. Right now, yeah. No one's ever made this joke before. I think it's literally the title of the first Wile E.
When I was reading the script, I remember seeing that note on the side that you wrote. It's explicitly that.
Yeah.
I don't know which one I want more.
And
I know which one won't. I know which one won't hurt as much to figure out.
Fair. I guess. I mean, one of them has a lot less material to go through, but like,
I mean, the power
Yeah,
is
very
real
powerful.
crazy.
Yeah.
You know what? Battle Royale.
Who would win in a fight though if it was Tom and Wile E versus Kratos and Asura? Who would win? I think Tom and Wile E would just demolish them. I think that they would,
I
pretty
mean, isn't
easily.
their whole thing about failing though? Wouldn't they like be capable of demolishing
That's
them,
why
but
they're
just
so
get themselves
busted.
killed?
They can't die.
That's fair. It would just be a never-ending fight.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Well, all right. Well, let us know which one you think should be in the next season of Death Battle. Go ahead and get to voting on that once that poll is up. That is going to be under the members tab on the Death Battle YouTube page. If you are a member, you can check that out. Get your vote in. This is the first time there are only two. There's only one's going to make it to the end, and whichever one you guys vote on, we will do next year. It will be a part of season 11, regardless of how ridiculous it's going to be to make. So, oh boy. All right. So there's one other thing I want to talk a little bit about, which is Goku versus Superman. We do have a little bit of a little thing to show off. I like I said, this episode means a lot to me. We have spent a lot of time on this. We have full transparency. We've been talking about doing this episode since like 2020, I think.
Yeah.
Listen out for them. But I made that post on Twitter. Nobody seemed to catch what I was like saying. So I'm
So,
just
just say it already.
some of the
Yeah,
other
that'd be
content.
cool.
But anyway, we should get back to the
Road to 200.
community death battle. All right. Yeah, we are over time, so we're just going to jump into this. Let's go ahead
Godzilla
and
did
bring
not
up
beat Superman. Superman was distracted and was knocked down by a stray blast.
also wrestling, I think. So
Also CrossFit, yeah.
All right, so let's. Godzilla definitely beat Superman. Superman has obviously. Duh. All right, let's go ahead and get into this. So, as usual, you guys have submitted some answers for us as well before the cast. Go ahead and bring those up.
This one comes from KillPD Extra. Hulk has shook the entire multiverse and defeated characters capable of threatening Marvel's entire creation. He can regenerate from practically nothing and has several layers of immortality thanks to the one below all. As of late, Hulk's gotten more boosts in power. He can also attack souls with gamma vision. Didn't even get into that.
Jesus.
A kill, bruh. I mean, yeah, he's kind of right. My issue with like is with the attacking souls thing is weird because when he does that to Odin in Banner of War, you see like it's almost like Odin's an energy construct. He's definitely a soul, except for Odin's soul, but it's like he's represented like an energy construct. He like blasts through Odin with the gamma vision, and he's like the right side of his face kind of like, or the left side of his face, sorry, like shatters like glass. But then when Odin shows up again, he's like fine. So either way, Odin can like regenerate his soul, which I wouldn't be surprised about, or it isn't like a proper like what's it called form of attacking the soul. But to be honest, the fact that Hulk can like see souls at the least, I wouldn't be surprised if him being able to interact, like if that is a valid point.
Jesus Christ, I don't know what the fuck that is. Okay. Well, I mean, I believe it. That sounds like something in the comic book.
Wow. Okay.
Well, Godzilla has soul stuff too, right? Isn't one time he's the reincarnation of like Pearl Harbor victims or whatever?
He's the reincarnation of the Japanese,
Hiroshima,
the Hiroshima victims,
That's what it
because he was mad at how Japan had like handled things. Like, I can't remember. But yeah, anyway, let's go ahead and bring up the
Godzilla movie.
Yes.
From 660 Atlantis. The fact that Godzilla has shown up in both Marvel and DC comics to do battle is enough, but the fact that he stopped Superman with just his tail, who is stronger than the Hulk, says he can beat the Hulk.
See,
Wow.
William,
That's
he beat
interesting.
Superman.
This is not
He's
true.
not
Okay.
gonna beat the Hulk.
I have
He also fought the Avengers, including Hercules and Thor, who the Avengers were originally made to beat the Hulk. So shit on them. But it's fine. All right, I'm gonna start the poll in the
Well,
chat. Everybody's watching this live. You can go ahead and get your vote.
The Hulk in that, sorry, the Godzilla in that in Marvel, also more or less beat the Hulk. Like he like stomped on him, and Hulk was, like he wasn't making any attempt to chase him. Like Hulk wasn't unconscious because he could still talk, but it seemed like he was kind of like physically incapacitated, like he couldn't move.
Vote in, but we are going to start with the community vote from before the Death Note cast. Go ahead and bring that one.
This is gonna be close. All right.
Vote.
Okay, let's go with Hulk. I understand. Yep.
64% to Hulk. Okay, so Hulk gets one of the 4 votes.
And this tells me how it's definitely the people that know what they're talking about, and like, because when we have a popularity contest, when it comes to Hulk, like, I would imagine most people looking at that would think Godzilla, right? Because he's huge.
Maybe, I don't know.
Anyway.
I actually feel like most people would assume it's Hulk because they probably would have only seen one movie and been like, oh yeah, Hulk gets killed by like an oxygen destroyer. They just suck away his oxygen and dies. So, but I don't know. We'll see. And it also depends on you guys. So let's get these votes.
Oh,
Chad.
no, let's let Josh go first.
Oh, no.
Yeah, this one's sorry.
This one's really tough. Oh, man.
Either one of you can go first.
Well, I'll go. I think I came into it thinking Godzilla, and maybe it's recency bias. I mean, I just started watching that new Monarch show. It's awesome. If you like the MonsterVerse, check it out. It's really great. So I came into it with that, and then seeing him as a skeleton fighting the devil and God, like, I was
Oh,
like,
if they're doing like judgments, I mean, like bias aside, I mean, based on what the dude repping Hulk brought forward, like he just quantified how strong they are, how strong Hulk is better. Like he did the crossroads feat, and then just explained how, or explained like the guy repping Godzilla just didn't really explain how strong Godzilla was. Like he said the one that like transcends the universe in size. But then also when I just said that the Godzilla, but I guess it's composite, right? But I mean, like that would just be, it wouldn't be as strong as what he said. I mean, it wouldn't even be as good as what he said. Godzilla and Hell Godzilla is if you use the IDW scanning, which I guess he didn't use. So, I mean, based on all that, Hulk takes it. Like going strictly off this death battle. I don't know if y'all agree. What do you think for the people that were here?
Don't forget, as Hage points out, Godzilla with a minigun.
Right, of course. I was just about to talk about the minigun.
Hulk flexed so hard he broke physics just by flexing his muscles.
That's true too. I feel like I could go either way, and just to make the decision, I'm gonna go Godzilla.
Okay.
All right.
Godzilla,
Hulk or
bro.
Godzilla. Chad.
I want to do this fight really badly.
Seriously, yeah, absolutely.
I think the fight will be super fun. You brought up some really good stuff about Godzilla. It's a whole nother level than I was expecting, but I'm gonna go with Hulk because he's really broken.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. 2 votes for Hulk, 1 vote for Godzilla. And I'm sure there are other things about Godzilla that like I didn't mention that would be a big factor here as well.
But definitely make it win.
Definitely make the win. Jeez. All right.
Infinity of dimensions.
I'll give you guys a little bit more time with the poll because it is very close at the moment. So go ahead and get your votes in. Yeah, I think this would be a very fun episode to explore. Not only does it have really fun animation potential, but this argument clearly has a lot of back and forth.
All right. All right. So I put the music back on. Put the music back on, bro. So that could be a death battle episode in the future, based on what they just said at the end. And I'd like to see that. I think that is the one where Hulk wins. To be honest, like obviously much more research would go into it, up to that point, but Like I could just see them saying Hulk wins. But that's the main thing I wanted to do for this stream. Really was watch that with y'all. So, I mean, if there's anything you want to say or ask me before I turn off the stream, get that shit out now, or forever hold your peace. I'll give it another 10 seconds. No. Alright, I'll see y'all. No problem, bro. No problem. New vid should be coming soon. My schedule is fucked. But now that I've got a new editor, one that actually communicates with me better, it should be the upload schedule should start to become a lot more solid. So, but anyway, I'll see you guys. Thanks for watching.